This is Nightline.
Tonight, Fall Local Fallout. John Cena, the wrestler and train wreck actor, getting candid on the Pat McAfee show about the pressure from fans to keep a full head of hair.
Thank you for bullying me into getting surgical hair replacement.
As more and more of Hollywood's men document their hair transplant journey.
It looks like a bunch of maggots, but I can assure you I will be looking like Fabio when it's all said and done.
We head to the place that's been dubbed the hair transplant capital of the world. Why people are flocking there. Plus, murder has two faces. Two pregnant women missing from the same area around the same time. One you know, one you probably don't.
It was one of the most high-profile cases of my career, the search for Lacey and Connor Peterson.
24-year-old Evelyn Hernandez of San Francisco was 8 months pregnant when she vanished.
We go inside both cases.
Both Lacey and Evelyn, their remains were found. Heads, hands, and feet were missing.
Why some crimes get attention and the others don't. Could the killer of Evelyn Hernandez now be found? And Jennifer Aniston's suspect. New details about the man who police say rammed his car into the actress's home. His social media post about her. Why authorities think this could be stalking.
From ABC News headquarters in New York, this is Nightline.
Thank you for joining us. Wrestler turned actor John Cena is known for his body and good looks, but he's now opening up about the one thing that he couldn't control, his thinning hair, and why he decided to do something about it. Here's ABC's Ashin Singh.
John Cena has set the record!
From winning a record-breaking 17 WWE championships to donning pigtails and heels in comedies like Ricky Stenicki.
Rod Rhymstead, trained actor, how can I help you?
John Cena is one of Hollywood's most fearless and seemingly carefree figures. But he recently opened up about one of his biggest insecurities, his hairline, on the Pat McAfee show.
Thank you for bullying me into getting surgical hair replacement. Like, that's how far y'all push me.
The 48-year-old speaking about the pressure he says he felt from fans.
I'm in the Rumble, trying to win, and like, hey, how's the bald spot? Like, yo, that's not fair. I can't control that.
When you think of John Cena, you think about the definition of masculinity, like someone who is very confident in all things that they do, but also in what they look like. So for John Cena to share that he had an insecurity about what he looked like, I think is very powerful.
Cena isn't the only one turning to hair transplants to address hair loss, something that affects more than 50 million men in the U.S.
Hair transplantation is a wonderful procedure. And in the right hands, in an educated doctor that has the education and training and credentials, proper credentials, you can have a fantastic result, and it has changed the lives of many, many, many patients.
More and more men in Hollywood are getting candid about their hair transplant journeys. From Joel McHale on Justin Long's podcast.
3 surgeries later, and look at my hair. Oh, I'd be totally bald. It takes a lot. Look, we're not all born with gorgeous, thick hair like you.
To the Backstreet Boys' AJ McLean, who has also publicly acknowledged he had the procedure.
I think people are loud and prouder now about announcing that they're getting a hair transplant done.
What do you make of celebrities being more open to talking about this and being transparent?
I think it's the best thing they could do. Honestly, I think it makes people more human. I think just being able to open up about stuff like that is super important.
With church, do you want to be married in the temple still?
Dakota Mortensen is best known for starring in Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
It is 7 a.m. in the morning. Come with me to get a hair transplant.
But these days, he's posting TikToks about his hair transplant surgery from earlier this year.
So that's my new hairline, guys.
Why did you want to document it and sort of share it with your audience?
I don't know, man. Honestly, to me, it seemed like a cool process and a cool thing to see how it works. But it was almost after I posted some of those things, the amount of DMs I got from men or even wives, being like, hey, my husband's been so insecure about going bald or losing his hair, and just asking me questions about it. And it kind of made me realize that I don't feel like there was tons of people that talk about it then either, which I thought was kind of wild.
Mortensen was 31 when he got the transplant in January.
Were there times where you feel like you had to hide your hairline?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Before I did it, yes, absolutely. I think there was just a lot of times where I did start to get to a point where I felt a little bit more insecure about how much I was thinning out. And maybe it wasn't that noticeable for other people. And I think that's just why I started wearing hats a lot.
We'll take that blood and we'll inject it up here.
The procedure can be pricey. Quotes from clinics across the country ranging from $3,000 to $30,000 in the US. Mortensen says he could afford it because he partnered with a practice that helped cover some of the costs for him.
All right, guys, this is the final product. It looks like a bunch of maggots, but I can assure you I will be looking like Fabio when it's all said and done.
He hopes sharing his journey will break the stigma for others.
I think social media really helps normalize the experience. What Dakota was able to do was take us inside of his entire experience. We got to see before the surgery, during the surgery, in some cases, and after the surgery. And I think it really just helped normalize the experience for anyone who might be considering doing such a thing.
While Mortensen had his surgery done in the States, many others travel abroad.
Thank you.
Last year, we followed Brian Corder as he flew from Pennsylvania to Istanbul, Turkey.
Hello, Brian.
The so-called hair transplant capital of the world. This surgical package, he says, cost him about $3,000, a significant savings compared to if he had done it in the United States.
Nice to meet you. I just want to have my hair back, have my self-confidence back, and just not care as much as I do now. It's hard to talk about.
The surgery begins, a tedious process that can take several hours, as each hair graft is carefully removed from a donor area in the back of Brian's head, then surgically placed at the top of his scalp.
I'm pretty sure that Brian will have a good result.
With hair transplants becoming a big business overseas, experts say buyer beware.
There's a lot of red flags on the internet. Advertisements that are promising unlimited grafts, scarless surgery, pain-free, guaranteed results.
Dr. Ricardo Mejia is president of the nonprofit International Society of Hair Restoration Surgery. He says when it comes to hair transplants in Turkey, there's no guarantee facilities are held to U.S. standards. The CDC even warning medical tourism comes with risks.
Like any surgery, there are risks with infections, damage to nerve blood vessels, damage to arteries, damage to the recipient site by creating too many holes in the area where the grafts are going to go. We've seen cases of necrosis or poor wound healing and infections.
To avoid those outcomes, Dr. Mejia says check for credentials from reputable sites and ask questions.
We'll go to the American Board of Hair Restoration Surgery, which also has an international version, and they certify also doctors internationally. So the most important thing is, can you meet the surgeon or talk to them before your procedure? And are they going to do the procedure? Are they physically going to do it, or is it going to be delegated to a non-physician?
Brian Corder did his research beforehand and had a positive experience.
It was 100% worth it. I have no regrets. I wake up and I feel like I'm dreaming sometimes. It's so insane. Especially when I take a picture. I'm like, oh my God, I have hair.
But while luscious locks are celebrated and even envied, some men are leaning into their baldness with confidence.
Not everyone's getting this done. I mean, a sexy bald head is still sexy, and there are a lot of people who really embrace it and who are celebrated for it. You look at someone like Samuel L. Jackson, that's kind of a calling card of his in a lot of ways. And we can name off a number of other men in Hollywood who, the bald head probably gets them a higher fee because they know that the moviegoers love to see it. So it's not all bad to not have hair.
As for John Cena, he told the Pat McAfee show he's eager to be back in the ring with a winning head of hair.
Once it gets better and I got the long flowing locks, then I'll be like, yo, go to this guy. And if you're thinking about it, truly go to this guy. So I'm working on it, work in progress.
This was the parts where I was really going pretty bad.
And for Dakota Mortensen, he says that 4 months after the procedure, it's already given him the results he'd hoped for, and more.
Do you feel like this process has changed you at all?
Yeah, I will say it does feel good. It's crazy how much more confidence I have. And I don't think I noticed it until just recently. And even other people now, if I post something, people will bring it up too, being like, dude, your hairline looks so good. So it feels good. It makes me feel so much better.
Our thanks to Ashen. When we come back, 2 pregnant women murdered around the same time, found in the same bay. Their cases were very similar. One was Laci Peterson. The other you may never have heard of. Laci Peterson and Evelyn Hernandez were both 8 months pregnant when they died. Their bodies were both found in San Francisco Bay. Laci's case dominated the headlines. Her husband was eventually convicted and sentenced to life in prison. But Evelyn's killer has never been found.
Our hopes and prayers are to bring Laci and her little baby boy home alive.
24-year-old Evelyn Hernandez of San Francisco was 8 months pregnant when she vanished along with her 5-year-old son, Alex.
In the early 2000s, the bodies of 2 pregnant women were found in San Francisco Bay. Both were 8 months pregnant and in their 20s. One of them, Laci Peterson, became a household name. The other, Evelyn Hernandez, never got a fraction of the attention.
The cases were so similar in nature and yet were worlds apart.
A new Hulu series, Murder Has Two Faces, looks at why some crimes capture our attention more than others, with similar circumstances.
With Evelyn Hernandez, her family didn't have resources, connections to media, or attention from the police. In this series, we look at the systemic failures that certain communities suffer from in terms of visibility.
Evelyn had a 5-year-old son named Alex.
She loved being a mom?
She did. She knew that Alex was the most important thing for her. But it was really hard for her to be a single mom. So from the beginning, she had multiple jobs just to make ends meet.
With the Laci Peterson case, we saw that people are really drawn in to this idea of the all-American girl next door.
Women see themselves in Laci, this young woman with her husband, Scott Peterson, getting ready to give birth to her first child. That is the image that stuck in people's heads. It resonated with so many people from day one.
It's a tricky thing with missing persons with adults, because adults do have a right to go missing. In the beginning, missing persons just really wasn't certain whether she had left on her own or what exactly had happened to Evelyn. Evelyn's boyfriend, Herman, had reported Evelyn missing, hearing that her 5-year-old son, Alex, was also missing, and her baby was due. I grew concerned.
As a Latina, I remember in the newsroom being outraged that the Evelyn Hernandez case had not received the kind of attention that it really deserved. She has a 5-year-old child who's missing. She's pregnant. Why aren't we paying attention? We were not pushing police as we did with Laci Peterson.
In California, the FBI joined the police in investigating the mysterious disappearance of a pregnant woman in the city of Modesto.
We were all over that story. Satellite truck after satellite truck. I mean, we invaded that neighborhood. And it really never went away.
Only a few neighbors knew 24-year-old Evelyn Hernandez and her 5-year-old son, Alex. Police became concerned only after someone found Evelyn's wallet alongside a canal.
When I was here 22 years ago, trying to get a sense of how much traffic goes by here, I remember looking at it thinking that I've seen nothing but limousines go in and out of this place. Where that wallet was found at this particular gas station is just a few blocks from the limousine company where Evelyn's boyfriend worked.
Herman Aguilera was the father of Evelyn's unborn child.
It certainly caused us to focus more on Herman Aguilera because he was right here.
Towards the end of her pregnancy, I didn't see the Evelyn that I knew. The relationship was very broken. When I was talking with her, she told me, I'm very pregnant, I'm not feeling very well, I'm tired. And then she says, he's married.
Police say Herman Aguilera of Burlingame is married and fathered Evelyn's unborn child.
The boyfriend and everybody else has been very cooperative in the case.
So is he a suspect? He is not a formal suspect at this time.
One of the big challenges with Evelyn's case is that there is no person of interest publicly. And with the Laci Peterson case, we saw so many cameras following Scott around, getting in his face, asking where Laci is.
Have you taken a polygraph test?
And all of those things, I think, really draw people into that story.
Several months later,
someone saw remains floating in the bay. Evelyn's body was found just a little ways up from here at the water's edge.
Her legs were there, but both her arms were missing and her head was missing. And her baby was never found. When Laci was found on the shoreline, her head, hands, and feet were missing. Months before, Evelyn's body was found without its arms and head.
Both women were 8 months pregnant. Both bodies were found in the water.
We did speak with the investigators on Laci Peterson's case. We just really didn't know whether or not this could be a copycat type of case.
Mark Geragos, he tries to tell this story tying Evelyn and Laci together. It makes people question, well, maybe Scott isn't guilty.
The defense is trying to suggest that maybe there's some serial killer out there trying to target pregnant women.
Scott Peterson's legal team is trying to shift blame to some murky satanic cult. They say Satanists are snatching pregnant women.
There were a lot of loud, crazy stories in the media, but there was no indication of any of that in the evidence that we uncovered while we were investigating the case.
One of the goals with this series is for us to ask the audience to question whose story gets told and whose story doesn't.
Looking back, what would you have wanted done differently in the search for Evelyn and Alex?
It was Evelyn, her baby, and a 5-year-old. If there would have been more resources, could we have found her quicker? Or could we have found Alex? I don't know.
As a Latina, it made me sad. It made me feel like we're not good enough.
Whether it's fair or not, the link to the Laci Peterson case is what put Evelyn Hernandez's case on the front page of our newspaper. Unfortunately, it hasn't resulted in any arrests or resolution of their case.
Everyone deserves the level of attention that Laci got, and that includes Evelyn.
Evelyn's case continues to be a very important case in the homicide detail and is now in the cold case unit. Newer inspectors can move it forward.
To date, no charges have been filed for Evelyn's murder, and her 5-year-old son, Alex, hasn't been found.
What is justice for you?
We want justice for Evelyn, and we want justice for the boys. If they are alive, we want them home. And if they are not, we want them home so that we can bury them with her.
You can see more of Murder Has Two Faces streaming now on Hulu. Up next, a new twist in the gate-crashing incident at the home of actress Jennifer Aniston. And finally tonight, law enforcement sources tell ABC News they're treating the gate-crashing incident at actress Jennifer Aniston's home as a potential stalking investigation. They say they're reviewing several social media posts from the suspect, 48-year-old Jimmy Wayne Carwile. Those posts reference Aniston. Carwile remains in custody and has been booked for felony vandalism, but is yet to be charged. Aniston was at home at the time. Her private security held the suspect at gunpoint and called police. And that's Nightline for this evening. You can watch our full episodes on Hulu. We'll see you right back here same time tomorrow. Thanks for the company, America. Good night.